Good evening and welcome to it. This is Chess and Wine. Chess and Wine. My name is ADB. We're back at you with some interesting updates. I'm going to give you some updates on what's happening on the Junior World Chess Championships that is currently happening in India, where we have two of our very own, Mankga Thabang and Mnyasta Charlton, representing us. We'll show you just a bit on their performance, and then we'll talk a bit about the African Youth Chess Championship because, hey, there is some controversy brewing, and if nobody comes up with answers, like give people the answers. There's a whole lot of things that are happening that are raising a whole lot of questions from concerned players and parents and obviously other federation leaders, which is obviously something that needs to be addressed. But I don't know. Obviously, with the executive that we have right now, we don't know if they're going to brush it off or just move forward. And I'm going to try and connect it to something crazy. Whew, that's just me. Anyway, so back to the World Junior Chess Championships. Oh, things are looking very positive for our players. We see that in the last, obviously, it was in the last update, I went up to round 5 with Thabang Mankga losing round 5 against country master Yash Baradia, right? And Wait, I have to go back to the name Llewellyn. I remember Llewellyn Low was the one that, the name is Llewellyn Low. So yeah, I've got it figured. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your assistance in getting me through this. It was a very tough time and we through it. Llewellyn. Hi Llewellyn. There we go. So yeah, now back to Mankga Thabang. Obviously, I should have spoken about Llewellyn or speaking about Mnyasta Charlton. That would have been very fitting. But yeah, anyways, it came out here because I saw another name that I have trouble pronouncing. Baradia Yash. But anyway, it's a very simple one. So that's the player that beat Thabang Mankga in round 5. And in round 6, Thabang played a draw and apparently it was a win. And he was winning and apparently blundered something. And you just look at the games. You know, we always direct you. Go to the to chess nonsense and analysis. They always take good care of analyzing the games of the players, especially Mnyasta Charlton's game. I saw they already did a few of his games. That is IM Motukobes and Fidemaster FM Calvin Klassen. So yes, now back to it. In round 6, Mankga Thabang plays a draw against a 1700 rated what's that? Nep. Yes, I still haven't gotten answers on that. Deepak Adami. All right. So yeah, man, he lost about 3 points. And the next round, he's playing an Indian player rated 1790. That is Venkatesh Krishna. Now back to Mnyasta Charlton. Mnyasta Charlton in round 5 played Ayush Ravi Kumar, right? Yeah, that's round 5. The round 5 that we haven't seen. So FIDE Master Ayush Ravi Kumar lost to our one Mnyasta Charlton, getting him to 3 points. And in the next round, Charlton won again, this time against a 2495 rated Indian international master. 2495, 5 points away from being a 2500. And almost grandmaster. That is a Digra. I am Digra Aditya. And he lost to Mnyasta Charlton. He's an international master already, so probably he was here for the GM title. Because immediately after losing to Charlton, it decided to pull out of their tournament. So funny. I mean, he just looked at it, at his performances, like 2 draws, 2 losses in 6 rounds. I might as well just call it quits. And he called it quits and he left. You see the screen there, you show that he decided that he's withdrawing from the tournament. I mean, Charlton. I mean, you shouldn't feel bad about it, Charlton. There's a seasoned player. I mean, he's an IM 2495. He has very good reasons for pulling off, for what? For withdrawing from the event. It can't be just you. And then the next round, Mnyasta Charlton is playing against a grandmaster this time, an Indian grandmaster, that is Aditya. The Aditya is a very common name that side, but this time it appears to be a very from the previous one it was a surname. This time it's a name. I don't know. First name, last name, first name. So anyway, that is Samant Aditya, Grandmaster Samant Aditya, also from India, rated 2469, is whom Charlton is playing in the next round. Wait, now again, I think I needed to speak about this because I was speaking on Thabang Mankga. Remember I mentioned that the Indian food was showing him flames? But it wasn't just the Indian food. Apparently even the weather almost gave him a heat stroke. Yo, apparently the boy almost died there. Yo, It's so crazy because we're getting stories from him. I mean, actually got in a call with him. He called this after seeing the video where I'm talking about him, suffering from as a result of the Indian food. And he just called me to let me know, hey, you think this has been weird? It was worse. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even talk in the last 2 days, but I still played. I mean, geez, just for country, for pride, for. Hey, yeah, man. You see our soldiers that we sent there without even an accompanying person. Oh, my goodness. Our poor Chess South Africa that we sent there without even accompanying them to the airport. Our players that we sent there, they arrived on the day of the tournament in the morning, and 2-3 hours later, being jet lagged, they had to go into it. Our players that we sent there without any assistance from Chess South Africa, except for the players. Eish. And now they almost died in that far away place. All in the name of chess, all in the name of representing South Africa. So yeah, and apparently on that morning he went to a pharmacist and he tried to go to get some medication, and Charlton was been taking care of him this whole time. Charlton being a very good sport, making him tea, making him food, bring him food, and making sure that he eats, and making sure that he's well taken care of. He gets water when he needs it, and all of that. Until yesterday morning, when he accompanied him to the pharmacist to get some medication. So yeah, man. After that, then I guess we see some improvement, because the next game that he played after the medication, he got a half a point, a draw. So from here on, it's all the way up, I guess, right? Like, we hope. Yeah, but anyway, it's strong for us, player. We're glad that you're better. South Africa is happy. Now, actually, yeah, letting them know on your behalf. So yeah, man. And I'm going to go back again on the story of, there's an interesting thing. I just got a very interesting text from the president of Cape Town Metro Chess, formerly Western Cape. Is it Western Province? Yes, VP, Western Province Chess. And that is Burton van Staden. And he's saying that he made it. It's so excited about what's happening with Charlton. And the fact that Charlton has amassed this high rating from playing mostly only Cape Town tournaments. And they're so happy that they're the ones that made him. It was their events that made this shining star. Like, he just shone. So let me just read the text for you, and then I'll show you obviously the screen where he keeps track of all the ratings that Charlton's been gaining from all the tournaments played. So it says, I made a summary of Charlton's FIDE rating progress to date. He played his first FIDE rated tournament in September 2021, and it took him 1 year to get to 2,000 FIDE rating. That is by September 2022. It took him another year to get to 2100 FIDE rating, and that is by August 2023. He is currently at 2174 FIDE rating, 26 rating points short of his CM title. That is the automatic title that you get from reaching the level of 2200. That is how Mwale and other players. In fact, the only player I know that got a CM title from rating is candidate master Joseph Mwale, the fear. And it continues. Since September 2021, this was still in the COVID lockdown period. To date, he played in 23 FIDE rated tournaments. 20 of those tournaments were in Cape Town. 23 and 20, almost all. So actually, from only playing Cape Town tournaments, he could have been he actually gained 2100 FIDE rating points from only Cape Town tournaments. Isn't that amazing, though? So yeah, it continues. Chess Federation. So 23 FIDE rated tournaments. So 20 of those tournaments were in Cape Town. Cape Town Chess Federation hosted 16 of them, and 4 was local FIDE rated club tournaments. And only 3 was played outside Cape Town. 2 were in the Western Cape province, and the other one, the SHACC, the Julius closed in Joburg, which is the only tournament outside the Western Cape province. So in fact, all of his ratings were in the province, but most of them, 80-90% of them, of the tournaments that he played, were within his region. Wow. Now, it actually makes sense why the region should be proud. So, of the 2174 FIDE rating points, he gained 2113. So, 2113 points. 2113 by just playing in Cape Town, and 61 from outside Cape Town. We are extremely proud of him, as he is a product made in Cape Town. Listen to that statement. made in Cape Town. I'm laughing now. I'm thinking that the emphasis is having to make sure that our side of the story is told, because it seems like Bojanala is already hunting for this player. So please let the world know that this is our player. But I mean, if he feels it's gonna be warmer in Bojanala, I'm just joking, just joking. But anyway, so yeah, look at the chart feeder rating progress of Charlton Mnyasta, where he played his first tournament and he became a 1600. Then he gained 1,694 points. Snap. So first tournament, he became a 1600, right? Second, he gained 37 points, 62, 127 at some point. I think the most he's gained. Wow. Yeah, no, this is something very beautiful, and yeah. So I mean, every success story carries with it a whole lot of other people to be proud for the support that they've given. Like I've been mentioning Llewellyn Low as well. I'm thinking he's very proud as well, because he's also one of the people that have been supporting Charlton, from what I see, from what I hear, from what I gather. And he's very proud. And I see there's the executive committee of Cape Town Metro Chess Federation. They're very proud, and I'm sure there's proud parents as well. We saw a picture of the mother. Like, everyone's just feeling validated. It's like, hey, all our hard work, all our efforts, it means something. And I saw now I'm talking about people's things now. And I saw the comment from one of the donors, one of the people that have sponsored in the tournament, saying, after this victory, after this win, I feel like my contribution, my investment, I'm getting a very good return on my investment, because they were investing in Charlton's obviously progress. So now they're seeing him beating a 24.95 player. No, it's so crazy, man. It's so interesting. Now I'm thinking of I've had so much going on in my mind. Because now, after Charlton beats a 24.95 rated player, I'm watching yesterday player people like I am what to go as an FM Covent Classen, busy analyzing Charlton's game and saying he made him he could have played better here. He should have played there and there and there. And I'm thinking, doesn't Charlton beat you when he plays you? I'm joking. That really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because obviously their knowledge is way huge from their experience of coaching, of playing, and so forth. But I mean, it's just some of the things that I think about. But it's pointless to think such things, like the debate of someone being a head coach when there are players that are higher rated than them. It's moot, obviously. Because I mean, apparently at some point, Kasparov was at 2,800 being coached by a 2,500 rated player or person or coach, which was still possible. It happens. But yeah, man, these are some thoughts that you need to push out your minds. But now, moving on from the Junior World Championships and obviously Mnyasta Charlton story, which you're going to hear a lot about in the next coming days, because he's in the Junior Chess Champ, is in the world right now in India. Well, just try to get to the happenings around the African Youth Chess Championships. Here's the thing. So most of us have always had an issue with players that come in through the back door, come in because of favors, or get pulled up because they're connected, politically connected, political closeness. They get opportunities because they know someone, because their parents are. And I think from these experiences, we've became sort of how do I say? Yeah, man, we are a very. I'm losing this the vocab here. Oh, it's because I'm only hearing my voice, like, from where I'm speaking. But we've become a very suspicious people. Like, we are never easily trusting of situations because of the experiences that we've heard. I mean, we've spoken of parents who were arbiters in tournaments where their child was playing in that very section, and the child is playing the final round, where they need a win in order to make it through to the next selection, and their child makes a touch move or an illegal move, and they are watching next to the side, and they interfere without recording it because it's their child. Or something happens, it's somebody plays an illegal move, or before they even complete it with their pressing of the clock, they are their parents to call it, because they are watching and they are vested. They've got into. That's the reason why mostly we have issues with parents who people who get involved with chess, especially whether it's in administration, especially for the sake of their children, their own children, because then they get to only represent the interests of their kids the most, because we know, I mean, parents, when it comes to their kids, they always put the kids first. No matter how they try, it always comes back. It always comes to that. But yeah, so because of things like that, because of such experiences, and there's a lot more, or some arguing in a committee meeting on behalf of their kids that no, so and so deserve him, like, but there's somebody else, but so and so, and they try to speak badly about someone else that has gotten equal points as their kid or higher, and they want to actually motivate for their kid being the one that gets selected to go to the SHACC, and we're like, parents, come on, why are you here? Like, you see what I mean? So with things like that, it kind of makes us very suspicious when we see certain things, right? Like in this example of the Eastern Cape, where apparently there was this one executive in the committee who got an invite from the Department of Sports to send someone to a nutritional training course. I mean, it's something that came out of the group where they were in some arguments. And this parent, who happened to be in the executive committee of the region or the province, decided that they were going to send their kid, right? Like, because the kid is grown up, right? And that kid went to that, and now players want feedback because they knew that someone was sent and they didn't receive any. And when they asked that parent even said in the group, that thing was useless. Nutrition in chess, what does that have to do with anything? And I'm thinking, and he says that's the feedback that he got from the son, right? Like, and I'm thinking, nutrition and sport. I mean, you must try to speak to Dr. Bauer, Dr. W.I.M. Bauer, Dr. Denise Bauer. I think she has a book on that, nutrition and sport, where she actually talks about such things. And I mean, from my personal experiences and from personal experiences are involving players around me, whom after eating certain foods could not perform. And that is why they were doing very good if they played hungry. Like, they would rather play a whole 5-round tournament without eating and only eat after. Like, Mankga Thabang was one of them. At some point, DKN was one of them. Like, but Dumi's uncle is the DJ in the Eastern Cape was one of them. Like, if he ate during a tournament, from the moment he finishes eating, all the games that he plays afterwards, he will perform poorly. So those are such things, and this man and his child, this woman, obviously this family, and they decide to say, that training was useless, man. It didn't involve, it's just nutrition and sport. It doesn't get. So that's that, right? So we got that. That was that one part. And obviously, I mean, I probably shouldn't hide that I'm talking about a Peter, which was sent there. And now, obviously, we've got a Peter in the executive committee as a provincial representative. And as it happens, I'm going to try and find the screenshot for you. We saw, every one of us saw that there was a list of invited players for the SA Close, right? And I've got players, like, even during the tournament, but I thought it was a small thing because it was just a tournament, or maybe because it was just that only case and I thought it was small, but I feel like I should have raised it even then as well, where they say, in the under 20 section, in the open section, there is a Nico Peter, who does not appear on the, what do we call these things, on the Grand Prix, whether on rating or on points, tournament points or anything like that. How did he get there? I'm like, I don't know. Let's wait and see. We wait and see. And his performance, very dismal. He finishes last in the section because, because he didn't qualify, right, to get to it. So that's one thing. So, like, that is now a member of executive committee in the Chess South Africa. That's Nicole Peter, who's the provincial representative. And that's the mother of that player, apparently. So when you see something like that happening, you're like, one, right? Now, second time something similar happens, you see players that are seemingly, obviously that are coming from that are related. Let me just put it this way: that are related to people in the LOC, but they did not appear on the list of players that have qualified. Because South Africa, funny thing, released what do you call this? Released come on, give it a name. They released a letter, right? Yes, with all the names of the players that have qualified per age group. I'm going to try and share it with you, right? And it happens that there are some players that are appearing, and those players that we see were not obviously on those lists. But I mean, when I heard that there was an issue with the AYCC, I quickly went and I looked. Oh, flip. Man, maybe it's the Peter players again. And I look at them like, okay, CM. Remember, it doesn't matter. CM, they've got tackles. So players with tackles are not allowed. Obviously, they get free. They qualify. Yeah, they qualify whether they played or they didn't play or whether they didn't qualify. But yeah, they didn't make it in top 10. They were at the bottom, but they still made it. So for them, it's fine. But this time, maybe it was someone else's turn now to get their own back. So we look in the LOC. Obviously, we see that there is a Vicky Magu, whom we don't think has a child in Chessa. I don't know. There's Sean Leviton. Father of the twins. There's Caleb and there's Judah. Super players, strong players, and they're tackled, and you wouldn't question whenever you see them there. But yeah, so they're fine. They're in there. They're okay. But then again, there's Lizelle Bothma. And when you look at Lizelle Bothma and you go back and look at the list and you see that there is a child related to Lizelle Bothma, and this child does not appear anywhere in the list of qualified players. Suspicions, right? Like it has to raise something. And then again, there is I didn't see a child by Charon Lowe's, the communication made. And then there's logistics coordinator Andre Levags, who is also the president-elect of Chess South Africa. And I see there is his child there in the under 16 open section that is playing, and that child does not appear to have played the closed. What? Because we remember now back in with the communication. I just said that everybody, to qualify, in fact, it stated that like the South African communication, it just said that to qualify, players must play the closed, right? And parents scrambled for cents to make sure that they get their players into the closed because it's do or die. We can spend that 7,000 rands and so and send you to the closed because it'll be worth it. You qualify for the African juniors or however much it takes, right? Right. Yes, so now they discover later on when they see that there are some players who didn't play the closed who are there, who made it. But how? Hence the questions. But obviously, I was going to come back to this. There's obviously some lot of criteria for qualifying, right? Like some of them obviously are the official player, which is the player that gets all the benefit. The one which Swaziland was cheated off. I'm sorry, it's not cheated. But yeah, so and obviously there's additional players. So of official players, that is each African federation is entitled to register one official player in each category, totaling a maximum of 12 official players. Then there's additional players. In addition, each African federation will be allowed to enter any number of title players. That's the titles we were talking about, plus up to 6 additional players in each category. Kenya's been allowed 8. Anyways, but yeah, that's negotiating. Then there's the host federation will be allowed to enter any number of title players, plus up to 9 additional players in each category. These additional players will be responsible for the payments of That's the one part, right? So those are the ones that were invited in South Africa, those 9 players. And if they obviously fail to make it, they have to move on, obviously extend the invitation to the next player and something like that. Plus, there's another part. Each African FIDE-endorsed academy will be allowed to enter 2 players in each category, subject to payment of their board, lodging, as well as the prescribed fees. We'll come back to this. But in fact, there's another part. Yeah, the Continental president may allow further additional players subject to payment of their boarding and lodging. So there's actually many ways that players could get here. So the organizing federation reserves the right to invite additional players to make up an even number of participants in each age group, subject to payments of their board and lodging. But even so, we feel that, I'm sure many people feel that opportunity must be open, must be extended to all players, right? But first to those who have played the SAJCCC, the South African Junior Closed Chess Championships, because we know those players have already been versed in the area, who they have an interest in being part of this event, right? So it's best that we try that, if we want to be fair, instead of looking at the families of the people who are involved with the event, or the people who are the families of the people who are in the LOC, in the organizing committee, isn't it better we just first extend it to the people? There's means of communicating. Suddenly there's been some open spaces. Can we have any number of people who are interested coming from, or starting from any player that got, I think apparently they did in Kenya, any player that got 5 points and above. South Africa could have done that, but they didn't do this. We've never seen something like this. And I'm saying this is raising a really big brouhaha because I saw this following conversation in the Bojana WhatsApp group. I think, yeah. So let me just read it for you as I've seen it. Let's go. Let's share it. Let's go in it together. It reads as follows: Good morning, my beautiful Bojanalians, as they normally greeted. And it goes, wow, what a start to this Friday. The African Youth Chess Championships AYCC player lists for Team South Africa have been published, and instead of celebrations, there are questions and fights breaking out. It seems that some players who did not participate in the South African Junior Closed Chess Championships SAJCCC 2024 are now part of the South African squad for the AYCC 2024. This is surprising, as participation in the SAJCCC was a stipulated requirement for AYCCC selection, unless, of course, you participated in the senior closed. Now, first, we must note that while Chess South Africa prescribes the selection rules, they do not control the rules for AYCC, which is hosted by Gauteng Chess. It is important that we understand this distinction. I will say, though, that it is disappointing to see that the president-elect of Chess South Africa I will say, though, that it is disappointing to see that the president-elect of Chess South Africa's son, who did not compete in the SAJCCC, is included in the AYCC squad. And make no mistake, there are others with familiar surnames as well. This situation undermines the significance of SAJCCC, these are the junior closed, and suggests the existence of alternative pathways to selection, seemingly through FIDE accredited academies. Our players had to scramble for money to participate in the closed with last-minute notice, and no one from Chess South Africa told us about the alternative ways in the pipeline. I am not fully versed in the rules governing these academies, but understand that players they send must be registered members. Academies play a crucial developmental role, and I sincerely hope that this hasn't changed into some form of a pay-for-a-spot transaction at the expense of some of our players who worked their butts off. Hopefully, the LOC of the AYCC will publish which players represent which academy. They cannot be Team South Africa. Which is very fair, right? Like they didn't qualify through the process of representing South Africa. So those that have qualified, those that deserve the colors, are the ones that got, obviously, whether it's the top 10, the top 9, I think it was the top 9, who were selected through that. So yeah, and someone else comments that it's funny, Foster. I noticed a player that got 0 out of 9 in the South African Junior Closed that still qualified to represent Team South Africa. What? The player got 0 out of 9. That's got people talking already. And then there's another parent, Jackie Mayberg, saying, I personally feel it is not fair to other players. Why didn't they inform us about alternative ways to enter? So I see the new norm now is to see if you can be in a FIDE affiliated club. Not fair. And then there's another response from Lincoln saying, and these players get to wear green and gold? I don't understand this. But do they really get to wear green and gold and represent South Africa? They don't end colors, right? Surely they can't. Fanny Foster comments, maybe we should take it up with the host nation, that is Kenya, who has fielded the most players. Okay, that is a funny sarcastic comment. So why anyone has to wait for the AYCC invitation letter if anybody can go through? I mean, these are very valid questions. So another one says, actually, this is an opportunity to make some money. Who wants to make a friendly wager with me? And okay, this is just okay, but maybe it's interesting. I pick a South African player, and you can pick any player in the same section. I bet you the South African player will do worse than your pick. Oh, so they're predicting that South African players will perform poorly because of loss of morale from those that qualified properly, or insinuating that those that made it there are not the ones that qualified properly, but the ones that could pay. Pay your way in. Anyways, so another parent says, playing the SHSCC was very expensive, but we did it because that was the requirement for AYCC 2024. Why even bother at all if there are shortcuts to get your SA colors? You see the impression that this is giving, that there are other ways to get your colors without qualifying and playing and qualifying for them, just as long as you can afford to pay. So it's crazy. So yeah, there's a very interesting comment from a parent that says we need to know which academies the players who got zero belong to, so that we can avoid sending any of our kids to those academies. That's something that's going to get the academies thinking. So as more comments about progress, obviously they continued and continued. But I remember as well that they all right, from some of the comments which say that there are 4 FIDE accredited academies in South Africa, and only about 2 of them are actually qualified or at that tier 1 or tier 2 and tier 2 to send players to such FIDE events, right? So the one I know for sure is the case at Chess Academy with Eric Takarira at the helm. I don't know if it's still existing. I don't know if any of these players are coming from them, but I tried to call Eric and he didn't pick up. So that passed. But I also know of African Chess Lounge, which is obviously run by Ruben Salimu. It also has players. So I obviously spoke to Ruben Salimu and asked if he could send me the list of his players that qualify there. And the funny thing is, Ruben, he says that he got some requests from parents. He got some requests from parents saying, please, can you actually register my player through your academy? We were trying to get our kid into the African youth, and we see there's an alternative. And he says he refused. He was like, no way. I'm only registering players that I've coached, the players that I've worked with, and these are the 6 players that he's sending. And the names are Madison Lampert, Hannah van Heerden, Ethan Oosthuizen, Ethan Mazigana, Chloe Dikolomela, Gabriel Jacobson. Obviously, some of them are not from the province, but he's based in the Western Cape, and he does some of these courses online. So he was hoping these players will be representing him. So he cannot afford to take a 0 out of 9 player. A player that got 0 out of 9 and want to claim him as his own from his academy, because that'll really be poorly representing your academy. So I think it's true that this the players or yeah, in fact, the academies that the players are representing must also reflect, so that parents can also get a chance to see which academy is performing, which academy is not, instead of them just saying Team South Africa. It's crazy. But yeah, I wanted to actually get to another part. So apparently there is a communication that was written in the AYCC group, which reads as follows. Dear LOC, can we please see which players represent which academies? I presume that there is no debate that these players do not represent Chess South Africa. Chess.chessresults.com shows the federation and has a club feature which this can reflect. So in the February Commonwealth Chess Championship 2024 held in Malaysia, no player was allowed the Protea Colours of Chess South Africa. What? This was because there was no proper competitive selection criteria. Now the president-elect and the organizers' kids get in via alternative means, and they get Chess SA colors. This is unacceptable. This is an unacceptable conflict of interest, and has no regard to the South African chess player and their parent, who has to sacrifice so much to get to an SHACCC, which the current SA chess board insisted on. There is no shortcuts to the green and gold, and just because those in power get to use alternative avenues doesn't mean that we should rob this event from all integrity. Wow. So can someone from the new SA board, Chess SA board, please confirm that no academy player will play in Chess SA clothes? Also, can the academies please confirm what they charged these kids to play? Whew. Now, this is too much. This is a lot. I mean, we've seen, like, this is now an opportunity for the local organizing committee for Chess South Africa, through their own spokesperson, if it's not the president, to come and clarify issues and let people know what is happening. Right? So, because, I mean, this is raising a lot of questions. Did your kid get preference because they could have been selected by the African Chess Confederation president? But what criteria was used? Because you are the child of the president, or because you're the child of the local organizer? Come in. You see, man, such kind of favors. We know that obviously the LOC, which are the organizers, obviously what do you call him? The ACC president, and the ACC president can obviously invite players. They've got that. Sorry, I'm burping. Right. So they've got that. Yeah, it's a privilege in a way, right? So they can extend it to anyone that is closest to them, and we know right now who's closest to them. Is it the sharing of favors? Let us know. Or is it a matter of people affording to pay? Because again, nobody should have a problem if someone is actually qualified through an academy that they go through, that they study through, an academy that they're a part of. Because if they are, those academies are meant to offer these opportunities. We understand. Right? But apparently they were also charged exorbitantly. Apparently they're charged 5,000 rand per player. But some are saying that 5,000 rand was 5,000 rand just for the levies of them not using the official accommodation. But the regulations here say players from academies must, they have no options, must stay in the official accommodation. But then again, the players and the federation, the academy's leaders wouldn't mind having their players take part in the event. I mean, regardless of how much they had to pay. I mean, they understand the cost of running this event is very high. But again, that's not even the point. The point is, are players getting into the African Youth Chess Championships because they are related? If this was boxing, would you send your son and say, just because you are closer to me, or karate, whatever? No, you can actually go participate in the African event where people go in by merit, where people qualify for a sport, where people have to go through stringent stages or whatever, which are very tough competition to get to this point. And then you just come from the bottom and you say, because my dad is there or my mom is there. And I'm like, I'm just going to play because my parents are going to be there for that week and we need a babysitter. So since there's no babysitters around, they just put me in the tournament and I'll just, something to keep me busy. But some parents will be like, come on, you know how to play chess. Come in. I'm going to be in Gauteng for the week. I'm going to be working there. Like maybe the chief arbiter could also do the same thing. I'm going to be working at the African Youth Chess Championships. Maybe I can bring my whole family. Oh, son, you know how to play chess. Come, we'll put you in the under 16. You can fit in there. Type of thing. Is that how things are done? If not, then please, let's get the communication from Chess South Africa, Gauteng Chess, and the local organizing committee from the AYCC. Even the African Chess Confederation must speak up on this issue. Because we had issues now with Kenya as well, with parents in Kenya complaining, saying that sports that belong to deserving players are being offered to parents who can pay or to players that can afford. They're looking at players I've got a list as well from Kenya where they're saying these players did not qualify through the selections, to the final selections tournament, but they are there. How? These are things that need to be communicated, people. Whew. But that is the role of the public relations officers, PROs and organizations. You need that. You need such people. And some of you have, maybe. You don't. But anyway, ACC has a Terry Bowles or somebody that keeps posting their things. So now give us an explanation on this, please, Terry Bowles from the ACC that communicates everything happening, everything relating to the AYCC 2024. Anyways, this has been it from me, Chess and Wines, Eddie. Good evening. Bye.